Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southeast corner of the map, playing in blue, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Byzantines, and his opponent in the northwest playing in red. We've got Kiljardi playing as the Mongols. Welcome everyone to Cliffside. Hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Gonna see a cracking game today, kind of interesting to think about. Now you might be wondering, why did I introduce Beastyqt? This player is clearly called random. Well actually, Beastyqt at the moment is going through a bit of a challenge. He's going to go for random civilization on the rank ladder until he gets rank 1. So, every civilization that you see him playing with the account random is because he's gone random civilization. So he never knows what he's going to get before the game actually starts. Now, what's kind of interesting is the civilization matchup. We've got the Mongols versus the Byzantines. This is why I say it's interesting. We don't see the Mongols being played all that often. So I'm pretty excited for this one. Like, we see a lot of Byzantines, very popular civilization since the Sultan's Ascend DLC, and I'm really excited for this one because the Mongols, they're an interesting civilization. Like, they've been going through the works a little bit. Often think about the Outpost rush, which is something that they kind of almost need to do at times because it's just a big part of their civilization identity. You see Kiljardi doing just that with 2 spearmen about to pop out, and the great thing about Cliffside is gold is very exposed. Look how far forward this gold is for the Byzantines. It's rough on this map because of that. And so an outpost rush could be devastating in terms of gold income. Now, of course, the Byzantines can rely on food and wood as most of their income for their army in the feudal age. Mercenaries as well with olive oil. I think the olive oil component does hurt the outpost rush a little bit. It's the extra resource that they get that helps them defend, especially with longbows maybe from the mercenary contract. We'll have to see exactly what Beastie decides to get. Either way, I love Cliffside as a map because you've got this kind of natural progression to the middle of the map. Like kind of locking horns, going straight, into each other. You've got the edges of the map where resources are important. Didn't actually quite get the bounty there. The raiding bonus, and he managed to delete that mining camp in time, Beastie. Heads on back, and he's taking up with the Grand Winery. So, really good, interesting opening of the game. Now, whilst I did say Byzantines has been a really popular civilization since the Sultan's Ascend DLC, I've got to say the channel growth on YouTube since the Sultan's Ascend DLC has been absolutely fantastic. So I really do appreciate the support you guys have been giving, whether it be Twitch and YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm streaming live on Twitch these days, so do check me out. If you're watching on the YouTube side of things, I'll leave a link in the video description. Drop a follow, come say hi next time. It's always great to have that live interaction. And the outpost is going to be going on to the berries, which is actually, again, it's quite a rough position, right, for Beastie, because he's got both his gold and berries forward, and he wants the berries for the olive oil. So we talked about the outpost rush maybe being a bit hindered by the mercenaries coming out. Well, maybe not if he doesn't get access to olive oil. It's going to be a tricky opening here for Beastie, got to say. Nice aggression. Now, what follows up behind this is something interesting for the Mongols. When they kind of got released as a civilization, well, I guess they were one of the original civilizations, they used to do this a lot, of course, the outpost rush, and then they used to get maybe a second town centre, play a bit more greedy, or maybe sometimes go for a fast castle. Things have slightly changed, actually. Behind this kind of aggression, they can venture out into trade. Now, trade on the map, Cliffside, is not always the greatest, considering the map positions and the trade post positions, kind of in the middle. But Silver Tree could be quite nice here in the north, I've got to say. Gets the Silver Tree there, it'll be a trade through his base. That could be a nice way to scale the economy, whilst he relies on the forward aggression, buying him that time. Looks like it will be the Silver Tree. The question is then, how does Beastie try and put pressure on that? Opting for the Grand Winery sets himself up for the sort of late game. And it's kind of an interesting choice, right? It's definitely a stronger landmark in many ways, but the Hippodrome does add that mobility in the early game with horsemen to try and deny trade in some ways, to try and attack trade. But the choices that have been made has meant that Beastie is going to be on the back foot at least for the next sort of 5-10 minutes. Not only because of the landmark choices, but also because of the outpost being there and denying the berries giving the olive oil. And so that means that gives some time here for Kiljardi to get that trade up and running, which could be devastating to the mid-game, give that really good kind of eco boost, and then produce a lot of army with it. I'd love to see this, actually. It's going to be a really interesting one. Beastie just getting the lay of the lands, probably going to try and find out what his enemy is going up with in terms of, landmark. He wants to see if there's any trade shenanigans. It makes a lot of sense on this map, especially with the way that the two civilizations are very close to each other. I think Silver Tree is definitely the way forward. That the deer stones, the extra movement speed, I don't think gives you all that much value, right? Because there's not that much distance to travel anyway. Like on much bigger maps, much more open maps, I guess, in a way, where you're not so close to each other, Having the extra movement speed can be a really big thing, but on cliffside with you both being so close to each other, you know, I think Silver Tree is definitely a good option here. Okay, barracks, mercenary house, double barracks in fact, so gonna go for mass limitane. Maybe not mass limitane, but a decent number of them. I suspect it's kind of considering the possibility of Keshiks coming in for the Mongols, which is, you know, quite likely to be a flagship unit for them. Looks like the Silver Tree actually going to the west side. So it doesn't want to get sort of a super crazy trade. I was going to get it for this market position, quite potentially actually. We'll have to see. Either way, Limitano popping out. It's going to Limitano for the outpost, right? Can put shield wall, which absorbs a lot more arrow fire, but it's going to lose 1 or 2 already. Like, it's got a good number of units garrisoned inside, right? So it's going to take some time, and the villagers... There's no village... Is there a villager here? I'm not sure if he kept the villager forward, actually. No, he didn't. It's just a spearman. He's going to take the fight, and there's no way to heal the... repair the outpost, though. So we'll suffer some casualties, but ultimately, this is a good move long term, right? Because he wants to get access to the berries. But archers being added now. Again, not really much of a problem. All coming down to the shield wall ability for the Byzantines. So that's definitely a nice way to push back the outpost. Limitano going to head on back home, and Silver Tree now deploying. Adding in a second archer range, so Kiljardi definitely looking to make this one messy and aggressive. Going to get another outpost as well, though. That looks like some mass archers. Gotta say that the Byzantines do have some really good tools up their sleeves. You know, Limitani, and in fact, what mercenary contract did he go for? He actually went for the javelin throwers in the end. Yeah, definitely a strong army composition. Gives you the vibes of the Malians, right? Tonso javelin throwers kind of army composition. It's one that Beastyqt loves, actually. We've seen him do this before. Not against the Mongols, though. Just continuing to put them some pressure. And I don't know if he is making traders. He is actually starting to make traders. It's kind of crazy, right? Being able to afford these number of units. Coming down to the double production of the Uvu, this is actually kind of strong. Forcing Beastyqt into making units. I love this play because, like, one thing you consider is the Byzantines typically are very strong in the castle age. The question is they have to get there. And how do they get there? With the amount of aggression coming in for Kiljardi, it's going to be a tricky one. Because I guess, you know, Beastyqt has to time it to perfection, right? If he does ever think about going to the castle age, he's got to make sure he's got plenty of units to defend with. And it's going to be a tricky one, especially with the Mongols right in your face like this. It's extending more outposts. And you might even start to be able to range just the edge of that farm, actually. Going down southeast, spotting where the gold villages are. Does have an outpost, though, Beastyqt, so should be safe and secure for now. Maybe that's a position that Kiljardi was looking to be aggressive with. I was looking to dive on in, but there's a decent number of those Limitane, but the archer number is still too good. Even with shield wall ability, the archers should take this out, but it does have 5 villagers garrisoned inside the outpost. I get some damage against the spearman that trying to torch it down, but I don't think Kiljardi really has enough to torch the outpost down here. But he's going to take out quite a few of these Limitane. That's definitely going to be helpful, but overall I think it's kind of okay for Beastyqt. Like, the shield wall gets so much value, right? At least he won't lose the outpost, but he will lose most of the units. Actually, this is... maybe he's losing a bit too much here. Limitane can only do so much, and he's getting attack notifications now because of the outpost. Oh, it didn't get built in the end. Oh no, must have got sniped. That's unfortunate for Kiljardi. That going up would have been a difference. Wait, it's actually going down? That's so surprising. The villagers, they should come out to repair. Going to garrison inside for now anyway. Limitane, yeah, he's going to repair now, Beastyqt, so we'll get that up. And doesn't have arrow slits though, unfortunately for him. Definitely great aggression here for Kiljardi. Out of all of this, by the way, Beastyqt's only lost 1 villager, which is quite key. Khan has to get out of there. Tries to snap another Limitana, but doesn't quite manage this, and the outpost does go up in the end. That's actually pretty huge. Trading happening. Yeah, it's going to the east side trade. It's getting 87 gold per minute. That's massive, and 9 food as well. It's got to be down to Beastyqt trying to absorb a lot of pressure, but this is looking a bit of a tricky game, I've got to say. The unit number's starting to scale. And the kind of scary thing with the Byzantines is that Now, there's a lot of aggression coming from the Mongols, but he's also scaling economy behind this. See that 41 eco units versus 35. Beastie definitely on the back ropes. He's struggling. I gotta say, Beastie's definitely one of those players though. He can often find what he needs to get back from these sort of positions. We've seen him do it time and time again. One game that does come into mind was a 4 Lakes game versus Wham, whereas Wham was Jeanne d'Arc and Beastie was playing Delhi. I did actually cast that on the channel. It's definitely worth watching. It was a fantastic one. On the thumbnail we see, I think something about Beastie's fishing. Beastie's secret fishing or something like that. It was a crazy game. Now what Beastie did there is going to need to try and do here today as well. The big concern is that he is going to struggle to deal with the trade, right? Like the amount of pressure he's being up against with these outposts, he's being forced to deal with it. The pressure. Meanwhile though, kiljardi getting a lot of value from the trade. And the longer that, well, kiljardi can just try and delay things for Beastie moving out, obviously it's going to be the better. Moving around the south and just trying to deny gold as much as possible. Does have arrow slits now in the outpost, so certainly helps. Slowly but surely, this outpost might go down though. I don't know how I feel about this movement here for kiljardi. He wanted to do damage, but his static defenses are going down now because of it. Snaps off a villager. But he's getting some good idle time on the east side of the wood line, but he's lost his forward position. I don't know if it was worth it, you know, because now Beastie's on to berries again. And he's going to get olive oil, and he's going to get mercenaries. You can see the idea. Oh no, Beastie's villagers and gold, they're not working. They are now, but little idle time. And I think kiljardi now, his position, forward position has been taken down, so Beastie can breathe again. And behind this though, the economy is scaling nicely for kiljardi. He's still got a good massive army though, and that's forcing Beastie to stay at home. So phase 1, defense complete for Beastie, but phase 2, he needs to deny trade and do some damage himself. Where's he going, kiljardi? Why is he going north? Is he checking to see if there's any extra villages on pocket economies? But he could just take a scout, no? He's sending a lot of his army. Maybe trying to defend. He's just worried about the trade being attacked, I guess. But he should see the armies here in the middle. There's a lot of idle time on the army. I guess he's heading back to defend the trade. I'm kind of curious of that play, actually. Like, he did so much damage. It felt like he had a bit more steam in him, though. If he kept his army on the outpost, this could be a way back in the game for Beastie, I think. It felt like he lost that forward position quite easily in the end, compared to what it could have been. Now the trade is under pressure, and there's a massive ball of units. kiljardi needs to get over here quick. He can't afford to lose his traders. He might lose a couple, but can't afford to lose too many more, because this is the eco advantage he's kind of worked himself for. This is what the whole outpost push was for. One limitane sent to the silver tree. He's going to suffer some losses. Now should take a decent fight here, but you know, he's up against javelin throws, which are doing a lot of damage, and limitane absorbing a lot of the arrow fire. He's going to focus on the javelin throws first, and that's definitely the right move. Taking quite a few of them down. That's going to take out limitane, many of them. Yeah, limitane should go down pretty quickly with this number of archers. He's actually really massing up here, kiljardi. He should have enough to one-shot, but again, just a couple of sprinkle of units here and there is actually taking out a lot of eco damage on those traders. The Beastie has lost his army. Overall, I mean, I think it was a good trade. I mean, lost a couple of traders here, kiljardi, but he's taken out the whole of Beastie's army. And if Beastie's being really greedy about this, I hope, I mean, he's got food and gold in the bank. I think he's considering Castle Age, but that could be a death sentence. Like, he doesn't have much of a standing army, and he could be pressured very heavily. But the thing is that Beastie's sending units here, left, right, and center. It's going to force kiljardi to peel off a couple of units of his own. He just needs to make sure it doesn't get baited into making too much of a commitment, right? Because he needs to be aggressive as well. He can't afford Beastie to go into the castle age too easily, because Varangian guards could pop out and it could pose a problem. I like the position of the outpost though, because this actually means that it's got good vision of any incoming damage. It's also just looking to get the food economy as well, to be fair. But certainly it's going to be important to get a couple of outposts. That's a good number of archers. He's not overcommitting. I like that a lot for kiljardi. He's moving around the right side with his archers to do some damage, and yeah, I think Beastie's thinking about Castle Age. It could be his downfall here, actually. Could lose a couple of villages and berries, and yeah, he's going to go with the Golden Horn Tower. I mean, I guess it makes a sense in a way, because if he can get a couple of Varangian guards, maybe that's his way into the game, right? He probably feels like he can't really out-eco the Mongols now, surprisingly enough, would you believe? Having said that, he does have the system network, so he's getting a decent amount of gather rate on the villagers, an extra 18%. And so, this is the problem though, he doesn't have a standing army, he's going to lose a lot of villages because of this, and I wonder if Kiljardi just dives it. Now, 2 archers should be able to do damage there, and the trade is pretty okay for now. 13 traders, nothing like earth-shattering, but it's definitely a decent amount. Outpost with arrow slits. Going to push away the villages, the units rather, for Kiljardi, but now into the castle age. This is where things become a little bit dicey for Kiljardi, right? He's still in the feudal age, and yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about how much of this game depends on how much delay he was able to establish with the outpost. He got a good amount of damage in, and got a bit of economy from it on the back of it, but was it enough? That's going to be the big question. It does have steeled arrows, so with mass archers, like if the Varangian guards don't come out in huge numbers, he could be okay. But it does feel like Kiljardi needs to do some significant damage now. He's going to get some more outposts. Yeah, he really wants to be super aggressive. I like this play by Kiljardi actually. If he can kill a lot of villagers, even if he dives on in and does a lot of damage, like it could buy him a lot of time. But the Varangian guards, I don't think he has enough to one-shot a Varangian guard even. It's kind of crazy to think about, right? But the perfect thing is that he's got rams behind this, and now the good thing for Kiljardi as well is with the aggression that's coming in, it doesn't feel likely that Beast is going to be able to send in the units to the trade. So the trade is going to escalate, and eventually he will get to the castle age himself. And if these become veteran archers, like even up against Varangian guards with this number of them, he should be okay. I love the fact he's sprinkling archers there just to defend as well. But he desperately needs to keep the trade alive, but he also needs to make sure he's putting pressure on the front. The Varangian guards, look how much they tank against this. He's got the second upgrade as well, wedge rivets, which is massive. Village garrison inside the outpost, definitely going to help somewhat. Limitane focusing on the rams for now, understandably so. He's going to need to focus on the javelin throws mostly. I think the Varangian guards, he needs to ignore them, at least as much as possible. Takes that one. Loses one ram here. But he's slowly being pushed back. Will the Golden Horn Tower go down? Will villagers come out to repair? Either way, it's going to be the Kurultai coming up for Kiljardi to get to that castle age. Kiljardi needs to back away, right? He needs these to become veteran archers. He can't afford to lose these. Going to poke and prod though at least. He must not commit though, because if he does and loses the archers, he's going to be in a bad spot. But the eco looking strong here for Beastyqt. Now, because they've got a couple of Varangian guards, going to be fine. All those 4 Varangian guards there, that could become a bit of a problem for Kiljardi. He has to back away. Yeah, he needs to cut as much as possible, get as much value, back away, get the veterancy on the archers, and he should be fine. But it's going to come down to how much Beastyqt can do damage here on those unit numbers. If he can thin the archer numbers down, he could be in a good spot. Veterancy has to be queued up. Queue it up, Kiljardi. You need it ASAP. The Varangian guards tank so much. He's not queued up just yet. There it is. But he's got the perfect count of the archers, really. Varangian guards and javelin throwers. But with veterancy, he should be okay. He's going to heal up a little bit with the Kurultai getting involved. Now, this is the time where Beastyqt could do some damage. He's all over the place, isn't he? With the economy. Which is really good. Forcing the archers back. 2 Varangian guards. Welcome on in Paris 2 on Twitch. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Hope things are good for you. And nice and sunny where you are at the moment, hopefully. It's very hot in the UK at the moment, which is kind of nice. Kind of concerned here for Kiljardi's trades being kind of decimated in the north. This is a problem. One Varangian guard, going to get good value. I mean, these archers, they're not going to cut it. I think the Varangian guard wins that. Going to go in the outpost. Even veterancy won't be enough, I don't think. And this is where things become dicey, right? Because, like, when you factor in the economy style that Kiljardi's gone for, trade, it's exposed, right? It's a lot different than, say, a town centre being there. Having said that, though, it's still way ahead in terms of economy, which is fantastic. Busy as always, still waiting for spring. Plenty of snow, and we've got more today. Oh, snow, holy smokes. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. But good to hear you're doing well, buddy. Kurultai following the archers for now. Now it's really going to be about Kiljardi's ability to consolidate and just stabilize somewhat. If he can stabilize the trade once again, he still has a good window in the game. But definitely for sure, like with the Byzantines now in the castle age, he's picking up relics, Beastie. 3 of them about to be in play. So he's definitely buying his way back into the game a little bit. Always losing a couple of javelin throwers here. Here come the Keshiks. I love this edition of the Keshiks, by the way, because it helped deal with the Varangian guards, but I think mobility is something that Kiljardi has been struggling with, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? You don't often think about Mongols struggling with mobility. Oh, the monk there should get sniped. But yeah, certainly adding the Keshiks is going to be great for Kiljardi. He's going to be able to raid, and the good thing for BC does have a bit of an olive grove transition, which means that it doesn't have to rely on that external sources of food. I don't know about the same for... I mean, Kiljardi is starting to get a couple of these pastures, but needs possibly a couple more. He's getting a prayer tent, but he's already lost down 3 of the 5 relics. Kind of crazy, went for the South Gold, right? There's not even an outpost to protect this. If Kiljardi gets found out there, that could be devastating, right? But yeah, so certainly he started to stabilize again, Kiljardi. Let's just see how many traders he's got remaining. 9 of them, so he's lost a lot of them, to be fair. So it's been a lot of pressure from BC, and the pressure continues. Oh, the economy. Kiljardi. Garrisons now, but the other concern is that, kind of ironically, the Mongols, both their economy, food and gold, like the gold is exposed, but their food is exposed in a different way. It's all consolidated in one spot, so that gives BC just one area to pressure, really. The primary town centre. Villages on berries. Oh no, Beastie, where's he going with them? There's only 2 veteran archers, but they're going to do damage. That is not ideal. And the Matana Varangian guard might take care of that. But you see crossbows versus the camels added in. Camel riders for Beastie and the Byzantines. But ultimately, he will get us around. The melee units will take out the crossbows. Despite the crossbows being the counter to the camel lancers, just doesn't have enough, right? He's moving on the west side again with another raid on the economy. Looking decent. This is kind of finely poised. From a game where Kiljardi had a really good position, it feels like things are starting to slip slightly, but that can often happen against Beastie, of course. He's not a slouch by any means. How the game's been lately, they've been pretty good actually. I think we've seen some really quality games. A lot of players have been playing FFA Mega Random recently, so there's not been as many 1v1s, but today certainly we've got quite a few, which is really good. Thankfully. We took a bit of break from casting. We're playing FFA Nomad ourselves actually. But now we're back on the casting bandwagon, which is where we love to be. But yeah, been some really good games. This has definitely been a highlight one as well. 23-minute on the mark, and I feel like this one could go either way. From a position where Kiljardi was in a dominant position, it feels like the Byzantines have come back into the game, and the concern is Byzantines' late game is incredibly strong, right? They don't have that huge reliance on gold because they get olive oil. They can make mercenary units because of it. And the way that the economy is set up here for Kiljardi, a lot of it is exposed, so he's losing a little bit. Of course, overall, still, I think, still a decent amount ahead in terms of economy, considering how many villages that BC has lost. And the thing is, that might switch pretty soon. He's losing even more traders here. Counteract the balance between olive oil coming in as well as an extra resource and units. Consider that it's got the olive grove transition really nice, well and underway, and he's got 3 of the 5 relics. Another one popping in soon. Uh-oh. Kiljardi will not want to lose the Kurultai, ideally. But again, still hemorrhaging traders. And he's on both sides of the map. This is where Kiljardi's finding it difficult to split up his army, right? To deal with this. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Just diving on in. Limitane, Camel Riders. Kiljardi doesn't have enough. Although he might now. With that second wave adding in. Although they're not engaging. Oh no. Okay, the archer's getting involved now, but yeah, okay, this will be cleaned up eventually, but it wasn't the most cost-effective trade. Kurultai, come on, hello. Deploy. Hello. There we go. Alright, so he's going to take out the army. He's grouped up together on the west side. Oh, he's going right for the silver tree. Now that's something that Kiljardi cannot ignore. He cannot ignore that. might be able to break through actually here. Question in chat. How can you switch between players in caster mode? There is a hotkey for it. If you can set a hotkey for it. The trouble is I'm on the unique player. I'm on the non-unique. I'm on team colors. What that does, it forces the game into red and blue for the two players because sometimes the play colors are a little bit awkward. For example, yellow-green. It's not too bad, but some players or some viewers are colorblind, so it makes it a bit tricky for them. And the trouble is on this mode, on team colors, if you change player position, it messes it up. So yeah, unfortunately on this particular view, you can't really, but if you're on unique colors, you can. I hope that answers the question. Welcome on in as well. Hope you're doing well. Well, Silver Tree has been taken down, so no more trade for now. It's actually kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Like, he was losing traders, but now he's lost his whole landmark. Got the Mangonel placements on the outpost as well. Definitely going to be dangerous for those archers. All of a sudden, Beasty's coming back into the game. It's a hotkey that you set. I don't know what the default is. I've changed mine, so I couldn't tell you what the default is. But if you check in settings, it will be there. It will tell you which button you need to press as standard. Kurultai deploys with the archer numbers looking pretty decent. Keshik's going to try and ride around the back on the Jamthos. Can't get on top of them though. The Limitani just too good in numbers. Oh, Keshik's getting on top of the Jamthos now though. That's actually huge because it's still a fight that I think Beasty should win despite the Kurultai. Although having said that, the Limitani are not really fighting where they need to be. They need to be on the Keshiks, and the Keshiks getting great value because of this. Overall, I think it's definitely a great trade by kiljardi. He might lose most of his army, but he did a lot of damage with the Keshiks. In fact, no, I think he cleans that up. There's no Limitani left, unfortunately. Beasty took his eye off the prize just for a moment, allowed the Limitani to venture off and not take out the Keshiks. Paying a heavy price for that. Going down the middle. Beasty's aggression has been all over the shop, right? It's been every single part of the map, and the trouble is there's not enough pastures. He needs more sheep. Despite having 40 villages on food, it's just not looking enough. How's it going, Portuguese? Welcome on in. Good to see you here. Alright, Kurultai. He's going to be backing off, and it's been a crazy game of Age of Empires up to now, I've got to say. And the great thing for kiljardi, he has actually picked up 2 of the relics behind all of this. Don't underestimate the power of that, because he definitely is playing towards the sort of mid to late game. The concern for him is on this matchup, it doesn't feel too good for the Mongols. We'll see what we can do though, because he does have a good number of units. Things have evened up a little bit on the economy side of things. And Beasty's got some really firm static defenses. Look at the olive grove transition as well. Holy smokes, look at that economy. Food and olive oil coming on in very nicely. Kurultai deploys. It's going to go for some Mangonel on siege. I like that approach, by the way, because we do see a very heavy infantry composition for Beasty. And he's going to get a keep in the forward position. Beasty, he's seen the game to the late game, and that's where he often thrives. He staved off the initial aggression. Would it be enough? Traders, nowhere to go. kiljardi not bothering to repair that up either. I think Beasty might be thinking about the Imperial Age. That's kind of crazy to think about, right? Well, Mangonel is exposed. He's going for the Mangonel. Mangonel is going to get another shot off. Should do. I mean, he's managed to keep the Mangonel alive, which is massive. Kurultai getting a good value into this as well. He's healing up the units as they fight. And extra damage output, of course. Limitani numbers still good, though, against the cavalry. Keshik numbers starting to dwindle a little bit. Limitani numbers looking hefty. I love the crossbow movement for the Mongols army, though. It does so well against both Limitani. And does a decent job against the Jamthros as well. But he wins that fight in a big way. The Mangonel did so much damage, and actually all of a sudden Beasty losing his army. It didn't feel like a good trade, actually. The Mongols coming out on top of that, and he's going to commit to mass trebuchets now. And I wonder if he's going to get outpost spam. We actually used to see this a lot in the early stages of Mongols. Get traction trebuchets, get outposts in the forward positions, but he's got to make his way through this keep first. Beasty, it looks like he is opting for that Imperial Age. That could be a big power spike for him. Could be a big power spike. And the question is, Does he have access to gold? And does it even matter for Beasty? He actually has 0 gold income. And it's because this one got snagged, right? Kiljardi taking this gold income. And this one as well. Oh, looks like, yeah, he wants to get control of this one, though. Oh, he doesn't have any emplacements here. Kiljardi, if he spots this, he could deny it. There's only one villager going to build that keep. That's a bit ambitious. Kiljardi, hello, hello, hello. He's not spotting it. He's too preoccupied down the middle, understandably so. Keep on its last limbs. Beasty's not really going to be able to repair it. I mean, he's going to get there in time. But this is just stone being sunk into... I mean, it might not even keep it alive, to be honest. I don't think it does. I think it goes down. Down she goes. Maybe. Down she goes. Any moment now. Yeah, any moment now. There she goes. Down the south. Keep gets denied. As we kind of expected. Thankfully, Kiljardi spotted it. And he's going to get another outpost. He's doubling down, of course. There's still a gold vein here that could potentially take Beasty. But it's going to come under pressure soon. And kind of interesting to think about, right? We talked about how maybe gold isn't needed, but it's still needed to some extent. Like, olive oil can take you so far. If Beasty can get this keep up in the north, that would be huge. Kiljardi, if he spots it, though. The trouble is, he's being pressured very heavily down the middle. There's that Imperial Age for Beasty. Added in a second town. Is that a second town center? Is that the... Yeah, he did add a second town center, by the way. Just to increase that villager count. Welcome in, Electropulse. Hope you're doing well, buddy. I gotta say, Tracking Trebuchets, like, they used to be pretty underwhelming, but they're doing a significant amount of damage here. About to take the Golden Horn Tower. He's already taken down... Oh, actually, hang on a minute. No, he's taken down the keep, but if he takes out the Golden Horn Tower, that'll be the first of the 4 landmarks. And now getting decent amount of input into this. The big thing is the siege, right? I think BC's struggling here. The Keshik numbers looking pretty decent. The Limitane numbers go down, then that's going to leave free reign on the Keshiks to do what they need to do. He's diving on in, and it makes a lot of sense if Kiljardi to put some pressure on, right? His enemy's in the Imperial Age. That's a lot of resources that's just been pumped into it, and Kiljardi wants to do some damage. It looks like he's going to do it. He's running on in. Beasty doesn't have the military numbers. The cost on his economy was just too heavy for that Imperial Age. He does have water level 5, so the economy is still rocking and rolling with the villager gather rates, but a lot of the villages are idled. And it's looking a bit dicey. He does have gold income secured in the north with 33 villages on it. But the big concern for Beasty, how does he stop the siege push? It's actually looking dicey. I'm not so sure how he deals with this. Like, he needs siege engines, he needs siege workshops, but he can't afford it. He doesn't have the wood income. So it's not going to be gold that's going to be a problem. It's not going to be olive oil. It's going to be wood. And I think Kiljardi knows it. He's going to go for the flank around with the Keshiks. Mangonels deployed. They get a massive shot off. Now, he does have elite Varangian guards. That will be pretty tanky, but crossbows already in play for the Mongols. And so this is looking really dicey. Mangonel still getting good shots, and that Mangonel well protected by a good number of spearmen and crossbows. Beasty, he's struggling. Kiljardi's pushing on in, and I'm not so sure there's a way back for Beasty. That push coming in at perfect time for the Mongols, taking advantage of the fact that Beasty went to the Imperial Age, maybe a little bit prematurely, but hindsight is 2020, of course. Easy to say now. Kiljardi, the momentum is building up, and that's what the Mongols do incredibly well, by the way, behind all this. It could be the case that the Mongols go to the Imperial Age themselves. Look at that. Look at the bank of resources. That 200 population. Beasty struggling at 112. He's moving on in. And he's taking out a lot of their olive groves as well. So even if Beasty secures the position, a lot of his economy has been decimated. Coming around the back as well, the Keshiks forcing in the army that side. He's trying to get more production. But the Keshik's always running around. It's going to be tricky. It does have Stonewall, so slightly trapped in a little bit. He's going to take a trade, maybe? No, he's going to just try and run out, but he's going to lose quite a few Keshiks on the exit. But ultimately, what that's forcing Beasty to do is staying at home at the back rather than deal with what's in front of him. Not that I think that he can anyway. It's a bit of a death push, right? Outpost coming up to secure up. We've seen it time and time again for the Mongols. The White Stupa, landmark of choice, and look at that. Even when he does get to the Imperial Age, the bank of resources is going to be way too much, and Beasty, he bit off too much than he could chew. Tried to get to the Imperial Age, and he's paying the price for it. Kiljardi taking that timing. He's playing it incredibly well. Varangian guards berserking their way through, trying to get wrap around the crossbows, doing as much damage as they possibly can. They are going to get on top of the crossbows, to be fair, and do some damage. Oh, this could be a cleanup. I don't think he has enough, actually. He just doesn't quite have enough, and obviously he's fighting against the counter unit. But he's going to try and go for the trebuchets, but the outpost being in position, does it have a spring on replacement? It doesn't. But either way, still, just didn't have enough cavalry. He's riding in from the east side as well. Beastyqt in all sorts of trouble. Going for the keep in the north for the extra gold, but he's got gold. The thing he's running out is food and wood. Believe it or not, we're kind of expecting gold to be an issue at this stage of the game, but it's actually the other resources. Mongol placement in the outpost doing some work, but that's going to get taken down by the trebuchets pretty soon. Kurultai healing up the units as well. And you can see how big of a death push this is by kiljardi. Holy smokes. Because the longer it goes on, the units, they're healing on up. Kiljardi gets the Imperial Age, and I don't see a way back for Beastyqt. He's trying it. He's trying to build up a force, camel riders. Trying to find a way to take a good engagement, but it's going to be tricky for sure. He's lost a lot of villagers. He's down to 118 population supply. Does have a springald, but it's only one, and there's also one springald there for the Mongols, so it could be something that kiljardi looks to dive at some point, but doesn't have to, right? Doesn't feel the pressure to do so. He's getting the upgrades as we speak. Taking the engagement now, bringing guards and the camel riders. Is going to go for it. Beastyqt tries to find a way into the game, but he didn't manage it earlier with the number of crossbows there are, and I think now there's just too much. Yeah, Beastyqt, his units dying, bringing guards berserking their way through. On top of the siege, to be fair, could take out some of the springalds, but he's only taken one springald out. Might get one trebuchet, doesn't actually manage it in the end, surprisingly enough. Barely stays alive, and the trebuchet being healed up by the Kurultai as well means that it will come back to hell. Oh, that was unfortunate not to get that trebuchet at least, but with 4 trebuchets still working, decimating that Kano Byzantines. Surely there's no way back. 5 military units, and he doesn't have a bank of food, doesn't have a bank of wood really, or gold, doesn't have anything in the bank. I think kiljardi slowly making his way through. Probably needs to take out the landmarks and then, you know, force his way to win the game. And Beastyqt, one of those players, obviously always tries to find any angle to win. Going for stone in the north, but I'm not so sure we see an angle anymore. Kurultai goes in an incredibly advanced position, and with so many olive groves completely burnt to a crisp, looks like the Mongols getting their way. Bear in mind, they're always getting bounty from every unit or building that's put on fire. He's getting food and gold. He's taking out 2 of the 4 landmarks, about to lose another. That'll be the 3rd, and then of course we do have around the back, we've got the Palatine School, which I suspect kiljardi might just go for the landmark snipe, and Beastyqt still trying to form one last defense, one last resistance with 4 springalds. If you can take out the siege, I think that's been the problem, right? It's always been the siege. He's diving in with the Keshik, so kiljardi recognizing where the army is now. That's the last stand for the Byzantines. Town centre is on fire, about to go down, and then that will only leave 1 more landmark remaining. It's been a great game of Age of Empires 4. Definitely one of my most favourites with the Mongols being played out. It's very rare that we see them in the current patch, so it's been an absolute treat. Does lose the Mongol in the end, surprisingly enough. There's actually quite a few springals. They actually managed to make quite a few on the field. Obviously coming in at a bit later than they were needed, to be fair. I think crossbow is going to trade on up, and he's going to snap out. He's going to snap out springals with the crossbows. You know that's in a good spot. That's a bad spot for Beastyqt when that happens. Mongol deploys it. Should get a good shot. Oh, that's actually pretty decent. The Kurultai will keep those units alive, at least for now. And it's just going to be a case of seeing this game out, I think, for kiljardi. Well, there's another Mongol popping out. That Mongol can get another good shot. Is on spread formation, though. And I think he just gap closes here, right? There's a second Mongol. Well, to be fair, he's fighting underneath an outpost as well, so might lose a decent number of units, but it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, we kind of saw this happening, right? There's only 1 more landmark to remain, but kiljardi doesn't need to take it out in the end. Beastyqt taps out. A great game of Age of Empires 4. Hope you guys enjoyed it on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for all things Age of Empires 4.